Well, joining us now to talk more about this via Skype is Robert Kelly, Professor of Political Science and Diplomacy at Pusan National University in South Korea. Thank you for being with us. So what do you think is going on here? Obviously, tensions between North and South Korea are nothing new, but should we be more worried this time around?
I wouldn't be, based on past history. Just in the last few years, there was a major war crisis in the spring of 2013, and there were two in 2010. There was a lot of saber rattling, a lot of the sort of angry rhetoric, a lot of North Korean threats to start war and shell various locations and stuff like that. And nothing came of it. That doesn't mean that this time isn't different. You know, we don't know a great deal about how North Korea makes decisions. So maybe something has really changed internally we don't know about. But based on previous history, I would say no, this will probably stop sometime in the next week.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about North Korea, there's a lot of guesswork involved because the regime is so opaque. But, I mean, can you put any of this down to just kind of saber rattling from the North, wanting to drum up more support?
I would say so. I mean, North Korea faces a constant legitimacy problem, right? Which is, why does North Korea still exist now that the Cold War is over, right? East Germany is gone. Why does North Korea still exist? If North Korea is just a poor version of South Korea, just a poorer version of South Korea, right, then there's really no reason not to have unification. So North Korea needs to gin up these kinds of crises, which is why every few years we have these things, and they're often driven by some kind of North Korean provocation or something like that. And so in 2010, they sank the ship, for example, right? All this is necessary for North Korea to justify to itself and to its people why it continues to exist and why its people are so much poorer than the fellow Koreans who live in the South. So they need these things. That's why these come up every couple of years.
So do these provocations then from the North simply show up their weaknesses rather than their strengths, do you think?
I'm not sure. North Korea is actually fairly strong. I mean, they would lose the war, of course, but I mean, North Korea's got a very large military, I believe like the fourth largest in terms of manpower in the world. So, I mean, they would actually put up a fight, right? I think the issue more is regime justification, right? They need to explain to their people why their ideology of unification never actually finishes, right? Why do the Koreas never actually unify, despite 70 years of talking like this, right? And why are people in North Korea living basically a third world lifestyle? North Koreans know, and have known for about 20 years, that people in South Korea are much wealthier than they are. And there's an obvious question, how come we can't have, cars and nice apartments and TVs and stuff like that? Well, this is the answer, right? This is it, right? South Korea is an imperialist and a hawk with the Americans and stuff like that. If you don't have these kinds of crises, if you have normalization, then there's no need for all this.
It'll be very interesting to see how this does play out, and no doubt the North and South Korea's nervous neighbours will be watching closely here. Good to get your thoughts on this. Robert Kelly joining us from Pusan University in South Korea. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.